with to life, I guess, with this alert. And just to give you a little bit of an outline, I'm going to give everybody just a real brief overview of our feed management program, just for the people that are not familiar with it. Tell you a little bit about the components and how it's working, and then we'll go right into this dry matter intake alert and how to use it and how to set it up. If along the way you guys have questions, go ahead and chat them in, or if you want to unmute yourself, you can also just interrupt. We're pretty informal. Yeah, so I'll start out just with, unless there's any questions up front, I'll just get going. Michelle, we're good? You guys can hear me, right?
Yeah. If we say something stupid, don't hesitate to correct us on the go.
Yeah, we actually appreciate that. Then we usually don't repeat it very often. But anyway, so just a real quick overview for people that don't know Milk Group. We're a tech company in the dairy space. We've been around for about 4 years now, and we have this feed management feed management program that's been out for a little over a year. Has been doing really well with adoption. It is cloud-based, so we can connect the team a lot closer, whether you're a nutritionist, feeder, the feed center, or dairyman. You're always plugged in, basically, and you can make real-time changes. We also have a training platform called TrainTrack to really make training feasible and executable on a dairy very easily. And then we also have quite a few array of sensors. One of them is Milk Pulse, which is basically a pulsation monitor 24/7 that sends your alerts right to your phone. You'll kind of hear a theme with all the products that we're doing, that we do really focus on alerting, because we really try to bring actionable data to dairy managers, dairy owners, dairy employees, to help manage things without having to look at data all the time. In talking about feed management has been around for a while. So how are we different? We really try to hone in on 2 main areas, and one of them is what I already mentioned, is being cloud-based. We're able to connect the dots real time. We can make changes real time. We can track things real time, and nobody has to use things like TeamViewer to be able to get access to the data, make changes, or run reports. So all of these components can run simultaneously without interfering with each other. So that was a big deal, to really connect the team in a different way. And the other one is simplicity. So if you look at this shot here of our app interface, most of the stuff is very self-explanatory. If you want to make a load, you go to loads. If you want to change the recipe, you go to recipe, and it really walks you through it just like a nice app does. So the user interface is simple enough that it actually does drive compliance during the feed process, and also makes it easy to make pen count changes, to make bunk calls, dry matter changes, those types of things, all real time without having to tell people that you did it. You just hit save. Next load that goes out already has all those changes. So really, those are the 2 big things. And of course, it does all the things a full-fledged feed program does, from tracking dry matter intakes, inventories, those types of things. Simplicity is important all the way through. So what you're looking at right here is the hardware required to wire up a loader and a mixer combination. So over here on the right is the loader. If you plug it into the cigarette lighter, you're installed. So it's a very simple way to install. And then on the mixer, it's also plug and play. You literally unplug the load cell cable. You plug that right into here. It runs it through our box, captures all the information directly off the load cells, and then you put that cable right back into the scale head, so that still works as well. You do the same thing with power, and I mean, we can get these installed in what, 5 minutes? Or what does it usually take?
It's pretty fast. It is plug and play. They go off pre-configured. They know your mixer, they know your loader, so just check them in and you're good to go.
Right. So, which also means the vast majority, we spend time with you on the phone. We mail these to you. You plug them in. we spend some more time on the phone, and you're up and running. So we can do remote installs very effectively, which also means they're very inexpensive. We don't charge for remote installs. And here's what it would look like installed before the wires are pulled back, just to show you how this routes through here. They are Wisconsin proof, they are California proof, they're whatever proof. We also fed with them with this, the box is stuck underwater. They are waterproof, so they're a tough box. We have hardly any failures in these boxes out in the field. Here's what it looks like in the cab. And what we're really doing is we're taking, you don't have to use your regular scale head anymore, because the mobile device that's right in the cab, right at eye level, is now your new scale head. That's what you're using all the way throughout the feeding process. So I'm going a little bit quick, but this is not the meat of the presentation. So here is just to give you an example of user interface. And again, we want this to be simple. It is, of course, bilingual. You can change it per user, whether it comes up in Spanish or in English. And then this is an example of one ingredient during the feeding process, so alfalfa haylage. Here's the pounds that still need to be added. There's a nice progress bar right there. Then we have a warning stage, so when you get close to the end, everything turns yellow to let you know, hey, you're getting close to the end, slow down. And then once you hit the target zone, it turns red. You stop adding weight, and then there is a time delay that you can set up, but it's usually 5 to 10 seconds until it auto advances into the next ingredient. So very easy to navigate. And this warning step really has helped with feeder accuracy, just to give them a little bit more of a tool to be more precise when they're adding ingredients. This slide, really, all I'm just trying to portray here is that we have two boxes, one on the mixer and one on the loader. They are in constant communication, and they can be over 1,000 feet away and not lose connection. What that does is that whichever box you're closest to with your mobile device is what we're connecting to the box via Bluetooth, so that you never lose load cell information no matter where you're at. It makes for a really nice user interface. You don't have to reconnect, those types of things. So all the data gets captured by the Android mobile device and then gets uploaded to AWS. And then, of course, is available, whoever has access to it, to plug into it. Just as a quick note, people always ask this. Yes, you can feed with it offline all day if you need to, and then just go into a Wi-Fi area at the end of the day to upload the data. We prefer if you have LTE, because then you never have any problems with connections, but we can work offline with the system as well. Okay, so I think at this point, are there any quick questions on how this product is put together, how this feed software is put together before we move on? I don't see any, so you're up, Michelle.
Well, very good. No, good segue into why we decided to do this. So everything Rafael showed you up to this point is stuff that we have done to help the feeder. So if we think of dry matter intake and why that number sometimes is hard to trust, there are a couple of reasons. One of them is the loads, all the loads did get run through the feed management program, and then there is user error. So the user interface that Rafael showed you, all the visual aids, the sound aids, we're trying to help with that, reduce error. Making reading the bunks, all those things, measuring refusals, everything helps with the dry matter intake. And then we have another problem, which is when we're missing data, aborted loads, missing loads that never get run through the feed management program. So what we're showing up here on the screen is the power of being cloud-based allows us to show stuff in real time. So the app itself already provides the feeder and the managers and the nutritionists and whoever else is part of the program a lot of real-time feedback, starting with, we see the figure on the left, that's the percentage of feed that has been delivered throughout the day. So that would already be an indication of whether or not we're feeding our cows timely and accurately. Then there are the loads themselves. We can go and check, have they been completed? Are they pending to mix? Are they mixing? Are they pending to drop? So again, another instances where or another place where we could go and check. The feeder accuracy is displayed in real time as well. So the feeders have that immediate feedback. The owners can check up on that all the time. So that's helpful. It does help eliminate some of that user error and provide feedback. But if you go to the next one, Rafael, please. On top of that, like Rafael showed us that diagram with the AWS cloud, being cloud-based again, the data gets pushed up to the cloud in real time, and we've got our dashboard on the web receiving all that data. So you can go there and look at dry matter intake, the loads, accuracy within a load, the amount of feed that was delivered to a pen. That's all there, and it gets pushed in real time. However, if you go to the next one, it is still just a little bit better than the traditional model. So if we think of the traditional feed management program, it still requires someone to go and look at things. Someone needs to go in a computer or the mobile device and intentionally chase the data and then learn from it. And that's all fine, and we have a lot of customers who have someone doing that. But if you think of a person in charge of doing that type of work, I'm listing here three of the main characteristics that that person should have to get the job done. One is time. So someone needs to make time for that. Expertise. Traditionally, we tend to generate tables, figures, graphs that are helpful when it comes to data visualization, but they only take you so far. They usually don't tell you what to do. So the expertise component needs to be there. Someone needs to be able to interpret the data and then generate actionable knowledge. And then the last component, and I think this one is, again, here's where we pick up fights. I think this is the one that people lack the most, the ambition.
So, Michelle, hold on a second. That looks like you need to be suicidal, that picture.
So, yeah, you go on Google and you're like, pictures, ambition, and then I should have drawn my own photos. So that's what came up with a Google search when you put in ambition. Point well taken, though. So, if you think of the incentive for a feed manager or even for a owner, again, the ambition part of it, to be able to sit down at the end of the day and check everything, there's some, but there's not a lot of it. So what ends up happening is we have our group meeting at the end of the week or at the end of the month, and then someone will come in with a stack of papers, this tall, printed tables, printed reports, and complain about the data doesn't look good, and then we'll try to figure out from there what happened, but we're too late for the party. And that's only the bad data part of it. Think of those days where we just fed a little too much, then we were wasting feed. Think of the days that we didn't feed enough, and now our cows are short of feed. So again, even though the data exists and our platform is slick and easy to use and in real time and all that, we were still stuck with this problem that someone needs to do it. And again, we all carry a mini computer in our pockets these days. We already have the ability to communicate through the mobile device. So it was the natural process for us to gravitate towards a notification alert type of thing that not only tells you what happened, but also tells you what to do. Like Rafael said, this is a team here with our products. This very much drifted from our pulsation sensor. that tells you which stall is bad and which thing is wrong and how to fix it. So bringing that into feed management, we are seeing, again, this has been out for a week now, and we already seeing people reaching out and say, man, this is super nice. So it does make people a lot more proactive.
Right. So, and just, and you guys, I'm sure, are all aware of that, but current state is you come in the morning, you check your dry matters from the day before, and you make your adjustments. So if you run cows out, it's always after the fact, right? And so with this alert, we're really trying to change that. So, and really will enable you guys or managers to really spend less time looking at data and actually do a better job with managing dry matter intake, which we'll show you how that looks. But that literally should blow your mind, right? You're not spending, every morning on data for about an hour. You'll actually get notified the day before when the problem is actually occurring. So, anyways,
this was the picture that got approved.
Yeah, the other one was too grotesque because the brains literally blew out. But anyway, so this one's the PG version. But anyway, so go ahead. So we'll go ahead and show you what this actually looks like now, or Michelle will, and what all you can set up.
Nice. So a good number of our audience has had some exposure to our platform. We probably have a few that have not. But for the ones who do know what the web portal looks like, here on the left, we kind of highlighted where the settings are, how we get started with this. So we go into our pen sessions, we have all the pens there, and then there's a button that says pen dry matter intake alert. Once you click on that, the first thing that you can do is, if you go over where it says notify, Rafael, is you can click there and select which users are going to receive this alert. So this alert is going to come to your phone at a given time, and you can choose, because the problem with alerts is also, if you send the alert to the wrong person, then it's not going to produce any effect. So you need to.
Or if you send it to everybody, they'll just ignore it anyways.
Correct. So I ignore a lot of notifications on my phone all day long. So also don't send them to me. Every install comes with a milc group support account by default. So it's been really rewarding to see people starting using it. But I am like, okay, I'm getting alerted now. So it's not that I don't care about your operation. I'm more than happy to help troubleshoot. So you click there and you say, okay, my feeder probably doesn't need to receive the alert. He was the person doing it to begin with. But maybe you have a next level manager. You have you as a nutritionist. So I like to make this analogy. Oftentimes we go out there and we put up cameras and we watch, did feed get delivered? Did cows run out of feed? All that. So this is similar. So you can set up an alert for your fresh pen, for your close-up pen, and then watch that, because it does give the nutritionist and the manager that tool to say, okay, we delivered feed. So sorry, I'm going all over the place here, if you're probably making it challenging for you, but let's recap. We start by selecting who needs to receive the alert. So when you click that drop down, you get a list of people, everybody within your group. You select who needs to receive the alert. The next step is the time. What time should we be notified if something went wrong? So this is the good thing. So my dad helped us build the alert. No news, good news. So you only get alerted if something went wrong, and you can choose which time of the day you would like to be notified. And ideally, you set up that time to be right around when we're done feeding, or when your feeder is done feeding, so that the staff is still around. And if everything went fine, again, you don't hear anything. But if something didn't go well, then you get alerted and you can reach out to someone and your staff is still around.
Right, so they can mix another load and send it out to whichever pen got shorted, right?
Correct. So if we do have to make another load, then there's still someone there. You don't need to go out there yourself and hop on the mixer and mix a load.
But, yeah. No, but it is pretty straightforward. you send it, who should get the notification, what time of day, so not everybody's already home, and then what's your deviation per pen, and do you want to turn that pen on or leave it off, right? Like heifers, maybe you don't care so much, high cows you do, right?
Yeah. So that's the next part. You can choose which pens are going to be part of this setup, because once again, if we're feeding steers out there, they're probably not, that pen is probably not as relevant. So that toggle on the far right allows you to say, okay, I want this pen to be part of my alert. And then the two important columns there, the lower deviation and the upper deviation, are the boundaries where you think things are fine. So let's just use pen 1 as an example. Currently targeting 38.8 pounds of dry matter per head. What we're showing here is if it goes below, let me do some math on the fly, 38.3. If it goes below that, or if it goes above 39.8, then we'll receive an alert because our amount of feed delivered to that pen at the end of the day was outside of our accepted deviations. And if you're more of a percentage person, there's a toggle up there in the top right corner. You can say anything less than 3% of my target, anything greater than 5% of my target, and you just standardize that to all your pens. It works either way. So if you toggle back and forth, it's the same. So once you set that up and click confirm, then it's saved, and it'll be set up to be running as soon as you click confirm.
Very good.
Yeah.
So oops, sorry, too fast.
No,
huh?
I was going to say, which should look like this once everything is configured. Don't take the time to heart, because we put up mock-ups and oftentimes we don't look at the time. But let's say at 10:30 you get that notification, just like any push notification on your mobile device. You don't need to be in the app itself. You can have the app running in the background. You get that notification on your lock screen. And then if you look at the feed app on your home screen, there's a bubble there, just like, again, any other modern app, indicating that there is a notification. Once you go inside the app, actually, if you tap that notification on your home screen, it takes you right there on the third image, which is our notifications settings. And then you click on that, and then the picture on the far right is what you get to see. For example, this particular dairy, pen 1, we were targeting 41 pounds, and we only got 18.5 delivered. So
bad dairy, man.
that was the day I was feeding. This is our demo dairy. So
sorry.
So you see right there, you get to see, oh, okay, we're off. And how much are we off by, and what do we need to do? So did we miss a load? Did we make a huge error delivering to that pen? Then you can start diving, and then from there you go back to our dashboard, and you can see all the loads. Did the phone get synced? Because again, we're communicating with the cloud, so sometimes it is important that the loads get pushed from the feeder's phone to the cloud. There's a lot of things that can cause the problem, and we actually put together a really nice troubleshooting document that we're more than happy to share with anybody using this feature, because again, we don't want to tell you that something went wrong only. We want to do that plus tell you what to do. So from here, you can take action on those particular loads that fed those particular pens.
Yeah, and ideally you would set it up. I mean, usually high cows, fresh cows get fed first, and then lower pens and heifers later. So if you set your alarm at 11 a.m., most of those cows would have been fed. You get your alarm, you got plenty of time to see, did they just not use the program right? Did they literally not put enough feed out there? Mm-hmm. Did somebody not show up for work? Whatever. And ideally still address it, so the cow never knows the difference by the time that you've already addressed it that same day.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things we can do with the alert. One example is what you just said. If we wish to have our fresh cow pen fed by whatever time, I could send my alert right around that time, and then if we didn't get it completed by then, I get alerted. So again, I go back to the days I was going out to dairies, and you get there's empty bunks. You get there and it's like, do we feed the close-up cows every day, or is it every other day, or whenever we feel like? So thinking from a consultant viewpoint, this is a very powerful tool. From a manager as well, because the main thing we keep hearing from managers is, can I trust the data? And this is one tool that will improve data quality. Again, there's a number of traditional feed management programs out there, and the number one complaint is we have missing loads, aborted loads, loads that never get fed through the program. I tend to side with the feeders a lot. Feeders have good intentions, but oftentimes if the process doesn't go as well as they expect, they will just make a load out of their own brain and try to feed the cows, which would be caught by this. So again, I think we are receiving really good feedback, mostly from managers and consultants, in the sense that, again, you don't need to sit in front of the computer, run 7 tables and 10 graphs to be able to determine what happened in terms of delivering feed today.
Perfect.
And I'm sorry to cut you, but I think we forgot to say this is Android and iOS. So if you're on the iPhone camp with me, it works on both, on your Android phone and iOS.
If you're on the other camp with me with Android, then that works as well.
We have an internal disagreement here that I am a believer in Apple, but I am a little bit of a
He's indoctrinated, yes. But yeah, no, it works on both, and also, you can have as many users on the platform as you want, so you can really send it to whoever should be getting these notifications. I think this you already went over without the slide, right?
Yeah. So again, just to recap, I forgot to mention, if you are a consultant and you're linked to 6-7 facilities, 6-7 dairies, 6-7 customers, it will tell you which customer. You see right there in the title of the alert itself, it tells you the name of the dairy. So if you have multiple dairies in your app, it takes you right to that particular dairy. But just recapping, what this is bringing to the table is, again, no more underfed cows, no more overfed cows, because, even though we're recycling refusals most of the time, it is inefficient, an inefficient process, or less efficient than feeding accurately. The data quality, again, I go back to, oftentimes we'll make ration changes, we'll make pen adjustments, we'll assess cow health based on the dry matter intake. And if that data is not clean, then you might be making the wrong assessment, which includes taking care of all those incomplete loads, missing loads, aborted loads, problematic loads, user error. Correct. We'll get to that question in just a second. So just to put the cherry on top of the cake here, happy cows, happy dairymen, happy consultant, happy milk group support.
And I guess I want to interject on the incomplete loads, missing loads data quality. Those do happen with our platform as well, that people just don't deliver. They mix the feed, but then they don't hit the delivery button and they actually deliver. You can go back in and fix that on our platform as well, so that once you get the alert and you say, he just didn't use it right, I need to do more training, you can fix the data basically so that that it all looks right.
Yeah, and I think this is the beauty, and we'll get to your question in just a second, Julie. But I think this is the beauty of, again, cloud-based technology and app-based technology, because let's think of a relief feeder who is not as comfortable, and those are usually the days we have problem. Not as comfortable with the program, with the operation, but he's still in charge of feeding. So you, as a manager or a consultant, if we get alerted at the end of the day and you say, and you call your feeder and he was like, I mixed the load and I did feed the cows, I just didn't feed through the app. You do have that power through your mobile device to fix that data. And by fixing the data, I'm not saying manipulate the numbers, but you can go there and complete that load through your mobile device, which is huge because, again, we're going to be making decisions off of that that type of data. So good point. You can be proactive, and it should take you a half minute to fix a problem like that. That can make a huge difference in data quality.
So can it track refusals as well if entered by someone? Is the question from Julie. Absolutely. There's when you go under the pen button on that app, there is a enter today's refusals tab that you click in. It opens up all the pens that you can scroll to your pen and then enter in the data of what you either weighed back or estimated. And then it does keep track of that and takes that into account for actual dry matter intake. Did I explain that right, Michelle?
Yeah, right on. Yeah,
It's
pretty simple, pretty straightforward, very friendly. So,
are there any other questions?
Comments, criticism, ideas?
So yeah, I mean, it does the refusals. It also tracks all the inventory. So any load that comes onto a dairy, you can easily enter with the app. And then, of course, it subtracts it out as those ingredients are being used in the recipes themselves and in the loads themselves. So you can get very close tracking. I just had one nutritionist call me yesterday, and he said, "You guys are making my job so easy." And I'm like, "Okay, great, but what do you mean?" It's like I was supposed to run the numbers on ingredient usage for the accountant, and usually that's a 2, 3, 4 hour process, and it took me like 2 minutes, to generate the report and email it to them. And the accountant was like, "I have never had this much data in my life. This is awesome, right? You guys actually know what you're doing." So the data quality is a pretty big deal for us, for sure.
Yeah. Again, for the ones who do have customers, or if you are a user yourself, please reach out to me or someone else within Milk Group. We are more than happy to help you set up the alert system. Like I said, we have a nice document with guidelines for troubleshooting, which you're more than happy to share so that you can take action. And again, this is just the beginning of what the future looks like. I don't think it's a surprise to anybody that we are in a good position to set up more alerts. So this is just the starting point. But nevertheless, it is a critical one because, again, we go back to that dry matter intake number quite often because it is a very refined number that includes a lot of things. There's a lot of stuff tied up to that metric. So I think we chose a decent one to start with.
And then just with that, and really in closing, unless there's other questions, just a reminder, if you are a consultant or if you want your consultant to have access, there is no additional fee at all. And if you are a consultant, you can have one login to get to all of your clients. Also, there's no additional fee for having this feature. Everything that we roll out is part of the subscription that is already being paid. Same thing for getting a hold of Michelle or Jason or Summer or Cameron or myself for support. All of that is included with the subscription as well. And yes, we will get up in the middle of the night for you if we need to. So it's but anyways, if there's no other questions, then I would just thank everybody for joining us. And if you do want to get a hold of us, go on our website at milkgroup.com, or you can call us directly. And then you can also reply to the meeting invite as well, and we'll respond to that as well. But anyways, thank you very much. And you guys have a great rest of your week.
Thanks, everyone. Have a nice day. Is this the time, Raphael, where we think that the meeting is over and then we say something is stupid, but it's still recording?